Drunken Under Quarantine show, presented to you by the Woolen Comedy Club. Here to remind you, this is a very adult show featuring very adult subjects and very adult topics. If you're ready for a very adult evening, please get ready for the Drunken Under Quarantine show season 3. Remember, stay safe, stay drunk, stay underwhelming.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am, of course, Hickory, the Drunken Underwhelming. Welcome back to episode 6, Drunken Under Quarantine Show, season 3, presented by the Woolen Comedy Club. Tonight we got some stuff to get into. It's just Collen, G-Dubs, and me. Tonight it's the boys. Let's get this thing started. Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I am, of course, Hickory, the Drunken Underwhelming. You have found your way to the Drunken Under Quarantine Show, Season 3, presented to you by the Woolen Comedy Club. It's, of course, Episode 6, the first Just Us host episode of the season. We got some stuff to get into. Tonight, we're going to be talking about how Vermont will not be getting safe injection sites. We're going to talk about the Pride marketing fail of the week. We'll be talking about something I didn't know exists, being family-friendly drag shows. We're going to talk about AOC a little bit, and then we're going to finally get into the news with Brett Kavanaugh today. Let's see, we're going to comment in. Nick and saying, what is up, motherfuckers? Welcome, Nick. Good to have you. Thank you for being on last week. That was a hell of a lot of fun, and it was a good time. We're going to have to do that again at some point. But without further ado, we have a whole lot of show to get into. So please welcome to our spotlight stage, my man, my boy, my comrade. Please welcome Mr. G.W. Foley.
What it do? It's up, motherfuckers. It is Wednesday night. Got the alert on my phone. Bam. That's right. Get a warrant. Can't just go looking through my phone thinking you can. Who do you think you are? Huh? Who do you think you are? Yes, that is right. I am GW Foley, and this is my time. I want to show everybody. I'm going to have to kind of turn it a little bit. I got my first diploma. Yes. First one of many.
It's going to have that whole brick wall covered.
Yes. Yeah. It sucks that the Vermont's colors are green. But
very Marty McFly, Back to the Future right now.
Yeah. Yes. I gotta make my parents bang. What's going on with me? Not much. Dude, same old, man. It seems like my life has been a revolving record of shit sandwiches. If it isn't one car, it's another. If it isn't like me not finding a job or another, or fucking just bullshit. Like, I want the bullshit to stop, and it's not stopping. I guess, and that's the lesson of life. Like, what's the meaning of life? Is dealing with bullshit. Like, there's so many things in your life that, like, you're like, life would be so great if I didn't have to deal with this. And I'm constantly dealing with that part of life where, like, sometimes I just forget the little things, like the moments I share with my dog when we go outside and he eats chunks of grass from the fucking lawnmower because my fucking landlord is too lazy to clean up after himself. Like, dude, that shit pisses me off. Like, he cleans out his lawnmowers on the lawn, and my dog is like, ooh, treats! and is eating grass, mud, and gasoline mixture of like grass patties, like he's a fucking heifer. And he's all happy with it because he gets a new treat. I have shit on the lawn before. I'm not going to talk about it. It's embarrassing. Speaking of shitting, I shit myself today. I was outside having a cigarette and had an incident bubble gut, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good." And all of a sudden, I sneezed because of the pollen count, and there's all through my boxers. And it was early in the morning, so I come in, kind of waddling like a penguin. Go into the shower, take off my shitty drawers, throw them on the ground, and they leave a skid mark on the rug. Which was embarrassing enough, except for the fact that I didn't see it. It was brought to my attention by my lovely wife, who walked into the bathroom, and she's like, "Did you or the dog shit on the carpet?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm blaming myself." Because it was a big stain. Like, it was a big pile. And do women have that problem of like just sporadically shitting themselves?
If they do, we'll never know about it.
Yeah, like I at least feel covered because I wear boxer briefs, so like the shit will get encompassed in the underwear. Like I've seen women's underwear, and like between the thongs and the boy shorts, that's just like prime ability to like have it drip down your leg. Like I feel bad for women. Like, they need granny panties again. Let's make granny panties sexy.
Yeah.
Give them something to like cover their asshole. Just watching the comments roll in. It's great. Don't ever do HelloFresh. I'm giving you this advice. The food has done nothing but upset my stomach for the past couple months that we've been doing it. And they constantly keep forgetting shit or not packing it. Like, we got 4 meals and 2 entrees of meat. It's like, that's not how this is supposed to go. Like, you're supposed to get like a thing of meat for each entree. And it just doesn't work out. Yes, that is probably why I shit myself. Full of fresh. All those spicing. It's the spices, man. I am a delicate Irishman through and through. Like, damn. It's a consensus. We Jesus. Yeah, like, I don't do spice well. I love Mexican food, but I just can't handle spice. Anyways, so that's enough of me fucking speak. That's enough of me rambling. Let's turn it over to Collen and see how his week's been.
Hey! What are we doing? Well, let me start off by saying that GW ruins more linens and rugs via shit than a 2-year-old child does.
That's true.
GW is like living with GW is like living with a full-grown 2-year-old that you never know how much shit you're going to be washing out of the drawers. You never know.
Pretty much.
I'm a little angry. I'm a little upset because I've been waiting years now to see Top Gun 2, Top Gun Maverick, and I was supposed to see it at my favorite movie theater in the world, which is the IMAX at Lincoln Center on Broadway on the Upper West Side. It is the largest movie theater in America. There's only one movie theater larger than it, and I believe it's in Sydney, Australia. The screen is over 8 stories tall by over 120 feet wide. You come in and you look at this theater, and it's like you're about to watch a spaceship blast off. And because the thing is so rigged. Incredible theater. It is a feat. It is an amazing experience to watch an IMAX on. If you ever get a chance, check out the Lincoln Center IMAX in New York City. These stupid sons of bitches are pulling the movie from IMAX out fucking days in the theater from premium showing for premium screens. So that means you had less than 2 weeks to watch Top Gun Maverick in an IMAX theater. Tomorrow's the last day in New York City you can watch it. Why, you may ask? Because Jurassic Park fucking Dominion, or however the fuck you pronounce it, Jurassic World, is going into theaters. So a Jurassic World movie is about to bump a film that they recorded 850 hours worth of footage for, and shot in 2018, waited 4 years to release, and after 11 fucking days in theater, they're pulling it. So I don't know if you guys can see this at home here. This is I'm going to show you the data. There, not really.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I'll try this just one more time. I don't know. Can you see it now? Yeah, a little better.
Yeah, a little better.
Okay, so here's a little. So Top Gun Maverick is 97%. Jurassic World is 39%. It is 58% lower than Top Gun Maverick, but they are pulling this movie. I'm so fucking upset about it. I can't even believe it. So I managed to get seats to see it in IMAX tomorrow at 1 p.m. It is the last screening of the film in IMAX in New York City on day 12. And it's at the Kips Bay IMAX, which is not Lincoln Center. It's a nice IMAX, but it ain't 8 stories tall. So I'm very, very, very disappointed. I waited years to see it in that format, in that theater. And now I'm not going to be able to do it because these sons of bitches are putting Jurassic fucking World in. So that's the biggest problem in my life right now. My biggest problem in my life is trying to explain to people what the pride flag is. This has become a very tiresome conversation of explaining the pride flag, and I get it. It's confusing. There's multiple flags now, right? There's the Baker flag from I think it's Gary Baker was the artist from 1978. Then you have the new Progress flag from 2018, which has a triangle that starts from the left, goes to the right, means moving forward, progress, and that has a black and brown line that represent black people, people of color, as well as all those lost in the LGBTQ plus community of AIDS. And they tried to encompass everything they could with this last flag. And someone said today that it doesn't include genders. I'm like, I think it does. I think it does. I think when they took the rainbow flag and they made the rainbow flag on steroids, I think that gender is included in that flag. But still, there's some confusion on the topic. I know we're going to be talking about Pride Month later. But it's really crazy to me when you have to have these conversations where it's so tiresome because you can't just approach one specific thing at a time anymore. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, okay, let's just focus on gay rights right now. It's like if you say gay rights, then all of a sudden you're saying straight lives don't matter, you know, or the whole thing with Black Lives Matter. My favorite one was All Lives Matter, yes, all lives matter, but we're trying to draw attention to a specific sector of lives at this moment. You know, it's it's exhausting. It's fucking exhausting. But we shall persevere. I saw a guy post a thing that said, "Can I buy a beer?" And it said, "No, you're 5." And then it said, "Can I buy cigarettes?" It says, "No, you're 5." And then it says, "Can I buy hormonal replacement therapy?" And it said, "Sure, kid, whatever you want," or something. But what I really thought that I was going to go to was, can I own a gun? And then be like, yeah, sure, you're 5. You're 5. Because, like we've talked about, I think we're all fans of responsible gun ownership. The odd thing is, in this country, is there is no age in which is required to have a gun. If someone gives you a gun, you can have a gun at any time. And you'd think somewhere along the road they would have been like, maybe a kid should be like 7 years old, like maybe a kid should be 10 or maybe a kid should be 5. They're literally like, any age, like any age you want when you have one. And the guy I was talking to used to be a cop in Canada. And I said, I don't know about how you guys do things in Canada, Tom. I said, but here, any age you can give any child. It's not responsible, but yeah, you could give a 4-year-old an AR-15. That's not legal.
That's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
Yeah, no, you said that's not legal. I just wanted to clarify that you meant it is not illegal.
Clarify, it's not illegal.
Okay.
I mean, it's frowned upon by the general public. But,
yes.
But not illegal. I mean, there's videos of guys at shooting range taking their 5-year-olds to go shoot AR-15s. It's So I said to him, I said, in America, any age, you can give a gun to a kid at any age. And I said, I don't know how it is with you guys in Canada, Tom. And he goes, I was a police officer for 29 years. He goes, I was not allowed to leave with my pistol. He said I had to leave his pistol in the police barracks. He was not allowed to have a gun at his own home, even as a police officer. And then he said for him to obtain a gun in Canada, he would have had to gone through an extensive permitting and licensing procedure, and which would have been costly. And he said, honestly, more trouble than it was worth if you weren't going to shoot often. And then really the only place you could really have it would be at like a shooting range, because you wouldn't really, even with that license, be able to actually like carry. So, I think interesting things. I think an interesting point of view. I think Matthew McConaughey's speech was well said, and I think he's one of the first people I've heard that's given a speech on guns as a gun owner and as someone who started shooting guns at a very young age. He said he had to shoot with a Daisy for several years before he got his first shotgun, and he was of that school where he grew up learning about gun safety and stuff like that. And I think there really is no more gun safety left in this country where there used to be, and you used to start with a 22, a Daisy, and then you'd shoot a 22 and went from, worked your way up. Now today, it's all this macho bullshit, these guys, it's, yeah, give a 7-year-old an AR, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, folks. So, not really a joke, but what I've been observing. What I've been observing this week. Yeah. And I had something else I wanted to say. But I guess I can get to it later. So we'll keep this thing moving along. Without further ado, the reason we get together every week, ladies and gentlemen, Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming.
Oh, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen at home, for showing up. Another episode 6. The season's flying by already. Pretty soon it'll be season 4, and we probably still won't have changed the name. It's a damn shame. This past Saturday, my alter ego, Kyle Hickory, went out, performed with G-Dubs, Kevin McTaggart, Max Palmer, and
Peter Pardo.
Yeah, Peter Pardo and Steve. Was it the name Steve?
Tom.
Tom. Yeah, that guy. He was great. I mispronounced his Hickory. Kyle Hickory mispronunciated his name like 4 times at the end of the show just to drive it in that he really didn't care. It was wonderful. Local little turnout. It was good. We had a good time. Alice was there, which is great. She was great on the show last week, along with all of Collen's Bridgewater neighbors apparently showed up. It was like everybody that lives in the town of Bridgewater was on the show last week. That was pretty phenomenal. We're going to recap real quick. We got some fun comments in. Hello, Mr. Penguin, said Nick Waters. The beautiful assistant shared that Hickory fell out of the bed the other night asleep. Yes, I apparently at one point while sleeping sat upright, and then while still sleeping, I started to slide off the bed, and I woke up when my feet hit the wall, and then I fell, and then I was like, oh, how do I get out of this gracefully without waking my wife? And she was like, are you okay? I was like, oh, too late.
See, in the magic industry, we call that disappearing.
I would show you the video, but fortunately that night it was warm out and I was sleeping naked, and there's just not enough blur to cover this giant dong, I gotta say. Nick said Collen Doyle just sneezed and shit himself too. Both the beautiful assistant and Nick Waters said that HelloFresh is probably why G-Dubs shit himself. The beautiful assistant says you can pay me to meal prep and call it HelloFresh. She's actually been talking about that for a while, about offering a meal prep service where she sends out like every week, sends out like 10 recipes, and then people could order a meal of whatever was on the list of on the menu, and then she would bring them to you with like instructions, and it'd be a little card that's like, you know, pop this in the oven at 350, remove the foil for 10 minutes or whatever. Matt said that ain't Bridgewater. talking about guns, I guess. Sean said absolutely magical. The unicorn commenter has arrived. Thank you for showing up, Sean. We do miss you and love it when you're here. Nick said kind of the Christmas story when you get a BB gun and they say you're going to shoot your eye out. Now they ask for ARs and they say you're going to shoot your classmates. Brutal, Nick. It's one of those things for me where part of me gets it and part of me doesn't. The fascination with the AR-15, even though there's been I don't know, hundreds of more modern variants produced. The reason the AR is in the spotlight all the time is because it's the most popular rifle in America. There's more of them than any other type of rifle in the goddamn country, which means that if there's more Honda Civics than any other type of small coupe or sedan, typically Honda Civics are going to have the most speeding tickets per car type. But so yeah, it's one of those.
And I always say AR, but it's not my favorite gun. It's loud. It's
wicked loud.
It's
louder than a handgun.
Yeah, and it's kind of awkward and you know. So, but I agree. It's funny that it just always goes to the AR. But
yeah, it's not like they're like, oh, the Scar 17 or the Sig 5.56. Like, these are all the same goddamn rifle in different manners. I mean, the Scar is actually a nicer rifle than the AR is. I will say, as a guy who owns a few, I like them. They're ergonomic. They feel good. And the question is always like, how many rounds do you think you need? And I'm like, well, imagine this. You're 2 hours from your house and your wife tells you that somebody just knocked on the door real loud and then kicked it in. How many goddamn rounds do you want her to have when she's defending her and your kids? I'd say if you could get her a belt-fed machine gun, I would be 100%. And they're having one of those mounted right at the foot of the bed.
I subscribe to the lone bullet, and you better be accurate, baby. You got one shot, and this is it.
Do not miss your chance to blow, Rabbit.
Wait till they align and try to put it through two of them.
That's correct. Nick said VPR was talking about it today, and they said the highest murders are from handguns. Yes.
Well,
Also,
they're easy to conceal too. I mean, obviously, it's like you're walking around with an AR-15. People are going to see you. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, I mean, in actuality, ARs are used in a very minor amount of shootings in this country. They're just used in a lot of the high-profile ones. It's mostly handguns. I would say it's mostly, and I hate to say this, it's mostly gang and drug related. Most of the gun violence in this country, and a third of all of the gun deaths in the country are suicides. Which is another very, I'm not downplaying it. It's a very, very sad thing that the country, we need to figure out why there's that many people that are that insanely depressed. Nick said, but it's not the guns, it's the people. Yeah, man, because when I look at it, and I didn't mean to just give a fucking two-way speech during my segment here, but when you look back at it over the past
50... You don't care about children.
No, dude, I'm pro-choice. Sorry, that was a bad joke. No, I do care about children, but I also care about, I think, personal responsibility, and mental health plays a big deal in this. And we didn't have these issues pre-early 90s, even though we had access to the same exact munitions, the same exact rifles. It's not like we've gone through some crazy technological advancement where we now have fucking laser blasters. Like, it is literally in 1980, actually, correction, pre-1984, you could still go buy a machine gun legally without a background check, without licensing, without anything. You could literally go buy a full auto M16, probably at your hardware store, because those seem to be the places that sold guns, or you could order one on whatever mail order magazine thing went around. And that was a thing until 1984. And then the NFA got created, which created it was the National Firearms Act, which created the machine gun registry, which basically stated that you couldn't produce new machine guns for civilian use in America, but the ones that were here could stay. Which then took the price of anything that's full auto right through the roof, because there was a finite amount of them. No more could be created. The exception is if you are a law enforcement guy, you can have full autos made for you. If you work for the government, you can have full autos made. If you work like private security, you have access to them. But as a private citizen, it has to be pre-1984. So technically, in the early 80s, we had access to better more damaging firepower than we currently do. And this wasn't a societal issue. In fact, kids were still bringing their rifles to high school and leaving them in their trucks. So no, part of me is like, no, it's a culture thing. And I think it's that we have a couple generations of weak people raising each other. And we have not been taught enough responsibility. I think there's a lot of confounding factors. Matt said, have you guys heard of people 3D printing guns? 3D printers will have to be banned too. That's another part of the debate, Matt, is a guy like me can go in the garage for 6 hours and I'll walk out with a fully functional handgun.
Have you the guys have done that in the scrap yards around the world too, which is wild. Yep. Like these different junkyards and in third world countries and stuff, and people make fully functional guns to satellite scrap.
You could look up, God, what's the gun called? I can't remember. There's a guy.
The one thing I would say, Hickory, that has changed since 1980 that they didn't do in 1980 and they do today is in 1980 shootings weren't sensationalized by the media.
They weren't every top page news story around the world.
It wasn't day in, day out glamorizing these people, talking about it and sensationalizing all of this stuff to the magnitude that they do today. And can I just on that topic, I called a local news station to talk about comedy, right? Yep. And they said, we talk about news. What's comedy about? What's newsworthy about comedy? I said, well, it's a performer coming in, and blah, 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 blah. That's not news. But you know what is news? Shooting up a fucking school.
Yep.
So you can't promote something good because that's not news. But the second something terrible happens, now that's news. Unbelievable.
But yes, I am very well aware of 3D printed guns and so-called ghost guns, which I may or may not have lost a few in a boating accident. Nick said, shit, Sears used to sell them in my day. I actually have one of my, I don't do a whole lot of gun collecting. That's not the fun part. I just like owning them and using them and knowing that I have them there in case I ever need them or whatever. But once in a while, I'll see something so cool that I'm like, I'm going to buy that, and that's just a collectible. I'm never actually going to use it. I actually have a box of Montgomery Ward 22 long rifle ammo from Montgomery Ward, which was like Sears before Sears was Sears, I'm pretty sure. It was like a box store like that. And yeah, I found a box of 22. It was pretty neat. Sean said, well, don't you remember when fertilizer was outlawed due to a certain renter of a truck rental, which outlawed all trucking? Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody in Congress said today after 9/11 we didn't ban planes. Well, he's right. He might be an idiot, but he's right. Nick said, also heard on VPR, said New York wants to make handgun print info on the casings once fired. Isn't that what rifling is for? Make a handgun print info on the casing? That sounds like a lot of technology that's going to get a lot of police officers killed because their guns aren't going to work. That's
How would that?
how's that going to stop anything? Not at all. You collect your casings, bro, or you put a shell catcher on it. Like that's poof, problem solved. You just take your shells out with you. I mean, they sell shell catchers. It's not like, I mean, they're meant for, well, I guess crime too, but they're meant for when you're at the range and you don't want to pick up 100 shell casings after your range session. It literally just goes over the ejection port on the gun, and it's basically a net bag that catches shell casings. Yeah, I have no idea. New York has a bunch of stupid gun laws that obviously don't work. Next,
they're coming up with more of them.
Oh yeah, they're working on it. I saw Trevor Noah was like all happy about that. I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because everything you guys have done has been so incredibly successful. It's been an amazing track record you have.
It's been working so good. It's like Chicago. You know, guns are practically illegal there, and you just there's no gun crime at all.
It's really working, guys.
It's working it's working in the same way that Burlington's working. The more regulations and shit we manage to put into Burlington, and the more shit we fund to try to, lessen the police presence, the more the crime rate and shootings go up. It's bizarre.
I don't understand that correlation, how there's less cops on patrol and there's more violence. I don't understand how those two correlate.
I agree, because I was told the cops were the violent ones.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing, isn't it?
That's wild. Nick said, yes, all my guns were lost in a boating accident. My heart goes out to you and all the other gun owners, especially those in Canada that have let Justin Trudeau be the gun salesman of the year because he brought up banning handguns, and I'm pretty sure they ran out the other day. That's how many people signed up and bought handguns in Canada.
It's like a place. It's like Canada. It's like the UK. It's like places that already don't have guns, and then he's gonna come up and he's like, "We're right after today. We're getting rid of guns because one death would be too many." And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Canada? Like, you got 28 million people. Okay, there are more people living in fucking California than there are in Canada.
And there's more guns in Vermont than there are people in Canada.
Yeah.
Matt said Burlington is hiring rescue rangers to make up for the defund the police. Yeah.
Hopefully on horses.
Nick said kind of like Valley Street in Springfield. Yeah, I hear Springfield's going through some shit right now.
My hometown.
It's turning into the hood from what I hear. And
really,
I didn't know there was anything there.
Valley Street's not gentrifying. It's going hood.
It's going hood.
Valley Street was always hood.
Sean said Awakening with JP covers these very issues amazingly hilarious. We'll have to look into that. Yeah, he's got a good channel. He's got some funny stuff. Anyways, that's pretty much my segment. Other than there was this photo taken of me not in a suit and tie the other day. Yes, that's me with a cart full of lawn care products. And unfortunately, I've turned into that guy. I'm pretty sure the beautiful assistant's about 2 weeks away from getting me a fresh pair of white New Balance, because I am trying to get my lawn to look like a turf. And it's going well. We actually have the best lawn we've ever had here. It was a big weekend. I bought a new mower, which was a big deal. That's like all YouTube plays now. is Home Depot ads. They're like, oh, he looked up a lawnmower. But I will say I'm going green. I just for this stuff. I like my car. But my now I have an electric string trimmer, leaf blower, and lawnmower. So yeah, that's a thing now. Mostly not because I really care. It's because I hate small gas engines. Because it's like one of those things where as a dude, I'm like, I should be able to fix this, but it's fucking impossible. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like trying to figure out a Rubik's Cube. It just frustrates me more and more. And you know what? It's a lot easier to pop a battery in that bitch and press go. So that's the new plan forward. Electric instead of small engines. But I'm probably going to have to get a truck to make up for it.
Metal truck.
Sean says, so is that the hose you used in your virtual reality interactive experience? No, although Peter did talk about his virtual reality interactive experience on stage the other night, to which most people went silent. That was awesome. Nick said, yes, I say that, Hickory. I didn't see any weed plants in that cart. No, those are grown indoors, not outdoors. Marcy's here. She says, hey guys, what's up, Marcy? Welcome to the show. Nick said, missing the most important green thing. Yes, that's why it lives in a closet, not out in the front yard where my idiot neighbors are going to try to steal it. Although I thought it would be really funny to grow a couple really nice hemp plants and just to upset somebody that went through all the time to steal and trim and dry those plants. That'd be a pretty good prank. They're all sitting around like, I'm not high at all. I just have a headache. She said, but you can do magic. Yes, I can, Marcy. Especially with fuel prices. Yeah, it's a good idea to go electric on that stuff, even though we have the second highest electric rate in the goddamn country. But with the amount of trees that drop around here, I guess whatever. Anyways, let's get into the regular show. We got some shit to get into.
So close.
Oh, and I forgot to... Whoops, let me grab that one. I forgot to pull up the...
I was waiting for Alice to show up. I'm like, she's in New York City?
There we go.
Yes, broadcasting from GW's bedroom. This is Collen Doyle.
She phones it in. Okay, first up on the docket, let's get to the local stuff. How the drunk is this news? Vermont won't be building nice, clean places for us to shoot up. That's sad. And no, not the earlier kind of shoot. I'm talking about the injection sites. Here we have from Associated Press. Vermont governor vetoes safe injection sites for drug users. Montpelier. Governor Phil Scott has vetoed a bill aimed in part at creating one or more safe injection sites, also called overdose prevention sites in Vermont, where people could legally use drugs under supervision as a way to reduce overdoses. Scott, a rhino, wrote his veto message. I can't call him that. His message to lawmakers on Tuesday that it seems counterintuitive to divert resources from proven harm reduction strategies to plan injection sites without clear data on the effectiveness of this approach. He wrote that the little data that exists is for sites located in large cities, so it's not applicable to the vast majority of Vermont. To be clear, Governor Scott, it doesn't apply to any of Vermont because Burlington isn't even a large city. It's like a good-sized town.
Yeah.
And the shit that we call cities in Vermont are not cities. It's kind of a joke. Such sites are equipped and staffed to reverse overdoses. The bill noted there's been a rapid increase in overdose deaths across Vermont with a record number of opioid-related deaths last year. I wonder what could have caused a spike in overdoses in the past couple of years. Could it have been a mass economic shutdown and a pandemic that destroyed lots of small businesses? No, probably not.
Maybe there's a correlation.
It would have set up a committee to examine the feasibility and liability of such sites to come up with a plan to implement one or more in Vermont. Scott wrote in his veto letter that before the pandemic, the state was making progress treating... okay, at least he called it out. Treating opioid addiction with its groundbreaking hub and spoke treatment, compromised regional treatment centers and clinicians who treated opioid use disorders in their own practices, as well as medically assisted treatment for inmates. Other strategies include syringe programs, distribution of opioid overdose antidote Narcan, that was a mouthful, fentanyl test strips, and community education, he wrote. These are proven evidence-based approaches to saving lives, but we must also continue to focus on preventing addiction in the first place, supporting people through treatment and recovery, Scott wrote. So yeah, no safe injection sites.
I think that is a stupid idea. Not the him vetoing it is stupid. Yeah, the numbers work for big cities and large towns in metropolitan areas, but it's still proven data. It's we need to help these people, and these sites are ones that will help clean them up and give them a chance to live. Like,
That
yeah,
was very heartfelt.
glamorous, but
When I moved to New York,
Marcy asked, is Vermont full of drug users?
yes.
The short answer is yes.
When I moved to New York, I lived on 34th Street, and on 35th Street was the methadone clinic, and people would go and it was a place. So there were all these heroin addicts that were in the neighborhood and everything. And my favorite disguise that they would do when they were fucking nodding off from getting shot up was they'd grab a newspaper and pretend they were reading the newspaper. and then just like sit down on a bench, and I would like fall asleep with the newspaper like this, or like fall asleep like this. But anytime you just saw someone that was just sitting there with a newspaper, you knew that they had recently left the clinic. Pretty benign people, really. They'd sit around and read the paper all day.
They were really informed.
And incredibly informed, and required very little supervision, to be honest. But I don't know. I think that they should get a grip on that. And again, as always, there's a larger issue at hand. There, I think Vermont really has been hit by between the strategic importing of drugs and then the pharmaceutical drugs. Between the two of them, I think is just it hasn't given Vermont a chance.
Yeah, and we need to come up with a better strategy than just what is currently happening. And I think having safe injection sites is definitely a part of it. I mean, look at methadone clinics, and of course, I'm going to pause for a second and say the one thing that I can see happening in Vermont is we have the huge NIMBY problem.
Oh yeah.
And no one would want to hold it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could think of a couple places where it could be housed in Rutland, but no, Rutland wouldn't touch it. And Burlington wouldn't touch it either. Because as progressive as Burlington is, they're not going to be like, yeah, let's have people inject here.
Well, the issue is it's always like, yeah, we really want to help, but we won't want those people around us.
They're gonna be like interviewing Bernie Sanders from City Hall, and he's gonna be like, "Excuse me, hello, yep, right this way, sir. You're looking for the heroin? It's right there. Okay. Listen, I'm sorry. They recently moved my office to the heroin clinic here on Center Street.
I have all the staff I need.
All the staff.
All the staff.
And then half the time we're doing paperwork. It's perfect.
And we got a couple guys who are both sides. They read a lot of news.
Bernie Sanders from his office at the heroin clinic.
Sean said, please correct me if I'm wrong, but in the Netherlands, when they had this type of support system, they had no overdose deaths in 15 years. Coincidence? Probably not, Sean, because they had a safe place. Marcy said, I think we have a county here that's the meth capital of the U.S. That wouldn't surprise me out west. Slap a band-aid on that bitch. Why not?
Yeah.
She said that was sarcastic. Yeah, I guess it is a bit of a band-aid on the issue, but like I don't really know what the solution. It's another one of those issues like guns. There is a solution. Whether what it is hard to say. I think I don't know. I think legalization and regulation of that one. That's one of the few things where I'm like pretty cool with. We need to legalize all of them and maybe not have a I don't know some type of thing on it, man. Like the thing that cut down the most on underage smoking was making tobacco illegal or making tobacco legal, like setting an age on it and being like, hey, this is what we're doing as a country, and that really helped the tobacco use of underage people stop. So who knows?
I think that legalization is coming to that point where no one wants heroin to get into the hands of children, but we want people using heroin to have a safe, clean supply that isn't fucking record overdoses of fentanyl,
And that they don't have to like rob people to provide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the other side is like the person that can't get their needs met could become. I'm not saying they all do, could become violent in that situation, and that's unfortunate because then you have a violent criminal who wouldn't have been a violent criminal had they been able to amply feed their addiction.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they have to get all train spotty, like a little dab will do you. And
Marcy said, unfortunately, the solution's in the rear view mirror now. I don't know, man. We could be past that point. I honestly think, and there's this. I don't know if it's even a conspiracy. There's this theory I've seen online that the introduction to fentanyl in the U.S. is the Chinese Communist Party like exacting their revenge for the opium. Because like that was a big deal, right? The like introduction of opium to China and it like destroying a generation for them.
But that opium was already there.
Yeah, but it got very, very prolific and brought in by the West, I think.
The British.
Yeah, but that's they.
I'm not saying all white people look alike, but
we're all the same. We're non-POCs. That's all recreational drugs are legal in Oregon to possess and use, but illegal to sell or produce, with the exception of marijuana. That's interesting. So if it's legal to possess, but it's illegal to produce, how do you acquire it legally? Riley says, "What up, guys? Riley, welcome to the stream, brother. Good to see you. Hope
now,
all is well."
Can I just say, fuck the British? Okay.
yeah.
God save the Queen, my ass. All of our problems are derivative from the old country. We blame you, Queen Elizabeth, for all of our problems, including guns and drugs and our lack of health care. So go fuck yourself, England.
Well, honestly, if they didn't want to be dicks and made us fight a war with the French, we probably wouldn't have a Second Amendment.
It's true.
This is true.
This goes back to the redcoats, always.
And what a different place this would look like already.
So here's the newest one in New York, right? Now all your smoke shops just have jars of marijuana for sale. And you can just buy it. Now, what is that? There's no licensing. They're not even open yet. But now they've made this incredibly weird law that nobody understands, so now it's legal. So now people are just getting weed from who knows where and selling it for who knows what price.
Yeah, so they effectively legalized the black market, but didn't put any protections in place to make it an actual white market.
No taxation, no regulation. And at some point, I guess they'll do that. But I've just never in my life seen a more dysfunctional fucking thing than what continues to go on in this state.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating. Let's move right. Oh, John's got a comment, and he said, "Tyranny must be held at bay at the end of a law-abiding citizen's barrel, in my humble opinion." Now, the old phrase is, when the government is afraid of the people, there's freedom, and when the people are afraid of the government, there's tyranny. I think that's probably true.
What is it when
Let's see.
everyone's afraid of everything?
Then
Paranoia.
then you need to turn off CNN. That's
Yeah.
that's the solution for that. It's amazing how fast you stop worrying about shit when there's not a 24/7 news cycle telling you the sky is falling. Let's move into the next topic. Pride marketing fail of the week. Burger King wants 2 tops or 2 bottoms. Nobody told them that doesn't really work in real life. You kind of need a top and a bottom to make a relationship work. Just saying. But here we go. This one from Entrepreneur. Burger King under fire for one of the dumbest displays of activism in new Pride campaign. Have it your way indeed, we suppose. In yet another marketing swing and a miss, Burger King's the latest big name company to come under fire for its new tone-deaf campaign surrounding the Pride Whopper, a new versions of the chain's iconic sandwich. To be clear, nothing about the Whopper sandwich itself has changed except the buns. Yeah, the buns. On the Pride Whopper, customer can choose either 2 top buns or 2 bottom buns. Burger King Australia rolled out the new campaign that features a rainbow background and 2 Pride Whoppers alongside the slogan, "Time to be proud." The company also posted the new concept on its Instagram account alongside a lengthy caption with roughly translated that states the Whopper represents 2 equal buns for equal love and equal rights, and that the sandwich is, quote, meant to put a smile on our faces. However, many on social media were all but putting smiles on their faces, slamming the chain for its insensitivity and a lack of awareness. Here we go. Burger King Australia has made a Pride burger that's either 2 tops or 2 bottoms. What in straight hell? That's pretty good. They didn't even bother to change the Whopper logo, just the E. Like, that's how lazy they were on this campaign. They couldn't, go the full distance to change the whole Whopper logo to a Pride flag. That Pride Whopper is one of the dumbest displays of performative activism I have ever seen. I think this is people that are Pride adjacent finally getting the fact that these companies have been playing them for fucking 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about it last year with the go to any American company's Twitter account and it'll have a Pride flag logo in June, but if you go to their Saudi Arabia account, it's still their original one. Because these people care. These people care about money, dude. It's not about activism. They don't give a shit. They just want money. What I'm hearing about a Pride Whopper, seriously, palmy face. Burger King introduces the Pride Burger. It's just a regular Whopper, but it comes with 2 top buns or 2 bottom buns. I would imagine this seems ridiculous, even to members of the LGBT community. He forgot the QIA plus part, so I'm going to deem that guy a bigot. But yeah, what a interesting time. What do you guys think? 2 tops or 2 bottoms?
I
Either
think
seem incompatible.
The person who came up with that in advertising's got balls the size of grapefruits. I mean, what in the hell is going through your head when you're like, I've been thinking about the burger and I'm trying to make it gay, right? And it came to me, the burger's comprised of the top and the bottom. What I would have maybe made a comment like that. It's a terrible comment. It's a dumb fucking thing, but I would have done maybe true love is when the perfect bottom meets the perfect top or something like that. You know what I mean? To say I want 2 tops, 2 bottoms. What the fuck is that shit?
Well, everyone knows 2 tops don't get along.
They just look at you and Hickory.
Yeah.
And 2 bottoms just complain to each other about how rough their tops are.
I mean, if they're using the whole top analogy as male and female, I can kind of see it. But it sounds like someone was just fucking around in a staff meeting. They're like, oh, how about we just put 2 bottom buns and be like, hey. Yeah.
What they miss though is that even in homosexual or transgender or whatever type of relationship, you still generally have a top and a bottom. You know, you know, like
Well, that's
like
where the
they're
whole
still.
phrase came from.
Yeah, there. I mean, literally, like that is. I mean, the top and bottom thing comes from the gay community initially, and then I guess it was. Oh God, what's the?
Well, baseball that gave us the pitcher and the catcher, and
Well, and I actually just watched that Seinfeld earlier where they were he was talking about every sex analogy is in baseball, and he's like, I was trying to get to first, trying to get to second, and then I tried to go for a home run, and I struck out, and it was a foul play, and like all these analogies. Oh, it was I struck out because she wanted the diamond. I was like, oh, that's... Anyways, that was completely off topic. Sorry, but yeah, that's where it came from. Oh, Mecca's in the comments. Yeah, what up, bro? Hammies. What's up, Mecca? Good to see you, brother. Hope all is well. Excited for your Juneteenth show. We got some fun comments in here. I'm not sure what these refer to, but we'll go through them. Nick said that's called schizophrenia. Marcy said paranoid mayhem. Nick said the LBQT burger.
This is some letters there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What they should have done is they should have brought back that burger they had for Halloween that was like green. Remember that one?
Oh, the black bun.
Burger?
Yeah, and everyone, and the next day, everyone who ate that burger Googled, "Why is my shit green?"
Yep, that's
purple
awesome.
Burger.
Marcy said that's not activism. Corporations aren't activists. No, they pretend to as a grift. That's the thing. That looks like a new employee just making a big mistake with the buns, and this is somehow supposed to be gay. I'm offended, triggered, and stimulated at the same time. Oh, fair enough, Sean. Nick said, I guess I'll stick with the upside down pineapple. Marcy said, oh my God, don't eat burgers or you'll turn gay. MTG. Oh, is that a Marjorie Taylor Greene reference? Or are we talking about Magic the Gathering? I'm not sure. Nick said, swing batter, swing. Yeah, just another marketing fail. And it's so lazy, like the three of us in an hour could come up with 15 better marketing ideas to encapsulate Pride Month as three white straight dudes that live in Vermont.
2 words, rainbow buns.
Now, see, I'm into that. Even if they were all just a different shade, like there's a red, an orange, a blue, a green, like the different colors of the flag. And then they had an ad that had all 6 of them lined up in the rainbow pattern. Like, okay. Marjorie Tater Green. Yes. Peach tree dish, I hear. That killed me. I had a hard time not laughing at that. We're gonna move right into the next one. This is gonna be the last one of the regular show, and then we're gonna move into some heavier shit in the after show. Coming up, family friendly drag shows. Yeah, and Hickory should start doing kids' birthday parties as a side gig. Yes, that's a thing. And I didn't know this was a thing. Did you guys know this was a thing?
Well, I knew that they had drag reading parties.
Okay. Yeah, I had known about that. But actual drag shows that are family friendly and child oriented.
Well, that's what we do at the Woolen Mill every Sunday. We take kids to church, and frankly, I'm of the subscriber of that. You're never too young for an AR-15. You're never too young for a drag show.
Fair enough. I personally was like, wait, so if there's family friendly drag shows, does that mean we could start booking all the Hickory hosts as family friendly burlesque shows? Because we could double our crowd size.
I think so.
We give the kids like $5 off or something. I don't know.
So ditch the child, the child care that you're paying. Bring them to the show and put that extra cash in the bucket.
That's right. I'm a fan.
Student discounts.
We will get into some comments in a minute. I'm gonna pull this up. This one is from Clash Daily. They say, and I couldn't find. I was looking for like a better article on this, but here we go. Disturbing videos emerge from family-friendly drag event in Dallas. This was from June 6th. The Drag Your Kids to Pride event was held at a 21-plus gay bar in Dallas, Texas. That should have been a red flag. Libraries have been hosting what GW is talking about, Drag Queen Story Hour, for preschoolers for years. We're seeing that schools are holding drag shows for students during school hours. There are lessons for kids to learn in the ins and outs of drag performance, like costumes and makeup. And now so-called, quote, family-friendly, unquote, drag shows are being advertised all over the country. A few days ago, Libs of TikTok posted a mega drag thread about the concerted effort to normalize drag performance for children. We're just going to get some highlights here. This was a bar in Dallas, Texas, advertising a drag show to children, including the opportunity for some kids to perform with the drag queens on stage. This is the drag queen host, this one right there. About this event, Mr. Mister's Drag the Kids to Pride drag show provides the ultimate family-friendly Pride experience. Signature event is a family-friendly spin-off of our famed Champagne Drag Brunch, with our resident DJ, DJ Charlie Fresh, playing some of your favorite hits, while host Nicole O'Hara Monroe brings together some of the best drag entertainers around. Our under 21 guests can enjoy special Mr. Mister mocktails, while the moms and dads can sip one of our classic Mr. Mister mimosa towers. Do you want to hit the stage with the queens? We have 5 limited spots for young performers to take the stage solo or with a queen of their choosing. Come hang out with the queens and enjoy the unique Pride event fit for guests of all ages. And yeah, that is the host.
You know, I think of all the things going on, you know, drag's probably the most benign thing for kids to see. Because I think even no matter how young you are, if you were with one of those queens, you wouldn't know what the fuck was going on. You'd just be like, all I know is that this 7-foot-tall woman loves me.
No, I think the issue that people had with this one, and is very interesting, is these are the signs in the club. One that said it's not going to lick itself, and one that said I licked it, so it's mine.
Well, the sooner you learn that in America, the better, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I mean, those are rules to live by.
Yeah.
Straight, gay.
It's never too early to learn.
Yeah.
GW's is a little different. It says, if I didn't shit on it, it's not mine. But
I know what I'm getting G-Dubs for his birthday this year. Sean said, this is adult and should remain adult. Hugh Hefner has security at the Playboy Mansion to keep elementary kids out. Marcy said, it's so the kids can be involved in the drag.
But like with drag, I think one thing that's worth noting with drag is what did Mecca say?
Mecca said, I've been to a family-friendly drag show, but call it Walmart.
But see Mecca would tell you, you know, I mean, he's been with his kids at the strip club. You know, that's different than a drag show. Like, drag shows, no stripping. Drag shows is taking a lot of time to put clothes, hair, makeup on. Burlesque, stripping's taking it off. I'd like to see drag burlesque, but that's not so much a thing, you know?
That's fair. Yeah, there's some more photos. Well, I don't know. Let's check this out.
Here we go. But get little Jimmy up there on the stage and have him shake his ass.
These are kids tipping a queen.
Yeah.
That is weird to me.
Not gonna lick itself, kids. Mm-hmm.
That Twitter quality video here.
Okay, sing it, girl.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, as a child, I have watched fucked up shit in my life. Like I saw my first porn when I was like 5 or 6. I don't think like I used to watch violent movies and bloody gore and corpses and shit like that. Like typical 80s action films. and I am a fucked up individual.
Can we
I
get
don't.
this full screen?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Sorry.
Dun dun dun.
There we go.
Uh, I I have watched a lot of fucked up shit in my life, and a lot of it was before an age that I could actually comprehend what was going on. I think drag queens and kings can be so benign and toned down that it doesn't matter. And what's the difference between taking your kids to a drag show and watching a Tyler Perry Medea movie? Like it's still a person dressed as the opposite sex doing things that a person would do. Like I don't see the problem with this, and it comes down to a fundamental of are we watching that, or are we against this because we don't like gay people? Is that it? I mean, we need to come together as a society and realize that this is an art form, and the more that we sit there and criticize it is more that it's gonna take hold, and people are gonna like it. So I don't have a problem with this at all. I would I personally go to it? No, because I know drag queens and they're there's there's some sketchy people. I'm kidding. Well, that's partially kidding, but that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know if you were done yet. There we go.
That's it. That's it.
I agree. Now, I don't have an issue with it, but as soon as there's a fine line because drag can become very burlesque like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that to me is like a weird, like, that's not child friendly to me. Not that I think that's at the parents' discretion though. And if you,
I would say that like
want to bring your kids to a weird, you know what I mean? Like that's up to you as an adult and a parent.
I would say
don't have a whole lot to say for your kid.
More sexual than like Britney Spears would do.
No,
but whether or not like a 6-year-old should be at a Britney Spears concert is probably up for question. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Like
I do
like,
think I want to show
a 6-year-old to Britney Spears Vegas show. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
This stuff is weird to me. Here, I wanted to pull this up real quick because this is stuff that's happening too. Like
that's just voguing.
I know, but this is at DragCon, which is like a very strange thing to take a 8-year-old kid to. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, I don't care. It's at the parents' discretion. Like he's great.
Number one.
And I don't, that's your deal. But to me, it's
that is a prodigy. What you're looking at right there. That is an 8-year-old diva. Shit.
Mecca said, "Sounds like recruiting to me." Oh, base take, Mecca. Marcy said, "I'm all for the drag shows." Like your guest said, 7 feet and full of love. Nick said, "I found a bunch of my old points from high school recorded on VHS tape." Points? Do you mean like
horns?
Plays? Sean said, "It truly may be an art form. I understand, but it's being weaponized for other gender issues. The children level triggers everyone's lizard tail to stand up straight." When I see little kids dance, yeah, it makes me like that. Desmond the Amazing kid was like taking off his clothes on stage and getting dollar bills shoved in his pants, and that gets to a point where I'm like, I'm no longer comfortable with this, and I think you guys are fucking weirdos. Because when I think of drag, I think of an adult venue, like just like I do with burlesque or my magic shows or any other uncensored adult comedy shows are not places that like children should be at. Because let's be honest, if me and G Dubs are on the bill, there's going to be some dick and fart jokes, And they're not
Yeah.
going to get them anyway, so it's really a waste of a ticket to bring your child to those. Sean said, in the time of Shakespeare, it was illegal for a woman to play a woman's role on stage. Man had to dress and drag. It was the law. This did nothing to allow women's rights. That's an interesting take. Do you think the plays were better or worse?
Well, the sexual tension was better.
That's probably true. Well, it allowed the actor to actually feel lust for the other actor.
Yeah.
Sean, you made me cry, laugh. Yeah, Marcy said. Nick said, can't be any different than the Super Bowl halftime shows. No.
He has a point.
That's a very, very good point, my friend. But Dobby has a good point. He said drag and drag queens are totally sexualized.
Well, and here's what I'm hoping that is happening with the family drag events is that they're toned down. And not.
I don't think they're going to.
I would hope so.
This is going out. I'm going to torque my ass for this 6-year-old. I'm sure it was like these drag queens, like reading, like if you give a mouse a cookie. Now, granted, would I want to see that? Absolutely.
And it was actually if you give a drag queen a dildo. If you give a princess a push-up bra. I actually heard an interesting point, and we had talked about this, and this will be the last thing we bring up on the main show before we go to the after show, is people comparing, and this will be interesting because, Colin, you've talked about minstrel shows a lot, that drag is the same thing, except the race isn't the butt of the joke, the gender is. In that, drag shows are men dressing up over the top stereotypical women, face full of makeup, push up, fake tits, the whole, you know what I mean? The whole thing. Basically, the character of what an audience would stereotype a woman as is what drag is, which is very similar to the minstrel shows, which were white people dressing up as the stereotype of what black people were at the time. And I thought it was interesting because I don't necessarily know enough about minstrel shows to comment on them, but I know you have a far greater knowledge on them. And it made me I'm not saying they're that bad. They're as bad.
Well, it's funny because I
but
just.
It is an interesting point.
And it was talking about. I think it's Harvey Firestein is his name. I don't know if you can see him here.
Yep.
But this is a picture of him here from, I believe the show is let's see if I can see it. Hairspray. Here it is.
Yep.
But I'd never really made the connection that a lot of the butt of that is like making fun of women in a certain way, to a certain effect. And this is very much like, it's sort of that voice like this, very deep. And, it was like when he's at a woman, it was very much. And I don't know if Harvey's gay or not, or if that
Yes, he is.
I'm assuming. But it is interesting that, like, some of the joke to it was like a fatty falls down. And I saw him do that show years ago. And the last number, he's doing a kick line, and they put him in heels. And he's doing this thing, and he was running around, and he was sweating so bad and so profusely that I thought he was going to have a fucking heart attack. And I was in the orchestra, I had great seats, and I was watching it, and I just remember thinking, like, is he going to, like, have a heart attack and, like, collapse, And it is funny that, like, some of that, the humor of that was that it was a heavy-set male pretending to be a woman, and isn't that hilarious,
Kind of like Medea.
Well, I think... I think there's more to it than that with Harvey Keitel. That would be something I'd love to see. Harvey Keitel drag. Harvey Firestein doing that role. because the original role from the movie, John Waters is the director of Hairspray, the original, which if you haven't seen, it's worth seeing. But the mother was played by a drag performer named what was her name? Not Destiny, Desire. I believe her name was Desire, and that's how that whole part started, was because it was played by a drag queen. And Desire was. I'm thinking I'm fucking up her name, and I apologize for.
It's been so many years since I've seen it.
Yeah, I apologize to all the John Waters fans who are watching right now, but that role was actually done for a drag queen because she wasn't getting roles.
Okay.
She was also in Pink Flamingos, another John Waters film, where she actually had to do dog shit. Yeah, and then John Travolta played the part during the 2007 remake of when it became a musical. They redid the film and John Travolta played it, and but that's why that part is for a male, is because of being a drag queen part.
Yeah, it says the cultural icon, gay rights activist, one of the defining figures of American theater, is also a recipient of 4 Tony Awards for his work as both a writer and actor. Yeah. Says Feinstein made his Broadway debut playing Arnold Beckoff, a gay drag performer, and the tempestuous relationship closer in the. I don't know what the play was.
Hairspray.
What was it?
Hairspray.
Oh, that was Hairspray. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was funny because really the most impressionable thing from that show for me was at the end when he was doing that kick line, and I remember thinking, my God, is he going to clap? Unbelievable.
So to end off, the only like actually disturbing picture in this entire fucking tweet thread is I'm going to share. This is like a 5 or 6 year old stuffing a dollar bill into a drag queen's pants. Okay, this might be where I draw the line. We had to get to the end of the article to grab it, but that's a little beyond comfortable for me. And the fact that these people in the background over here are so comfortable with it makes it even more uncomfortable.
You know what? This is showing that child that there are many ways to make a living, and not all of them are, solving math problems. Okay.
Like get home and be like, here, listen here, honey. You could grow up to be a fine young man who then dresses up as a woman.
I love that there was a guy who said, only in America can a poor black boy die a rich white woman. He goes, I'm of course talking about Michael Jackson.
I can't read that on the main one. We'll get into that in the after show. But anyways, thank you guys. We're gonna get into the after show next this Saturday at Woolen Mill. Vito, right?
Yeah, got a great show this Saturday night at the Woolen Mill. Matt Vita's going to be there, coming up with a heavy hitter from New York City, Matt Wayne, who's been on Comedy Central, recently worked in a movie that's coming out. And they're getting treated like royalty at the Mountain Meadows, so shout out to Mountain Meadows for housing the comics. And come out, shows at 8 o'clock. And it should be a lot of fun. Tickets are available on Eventbrite, and you can find it on our Facebook.
Nice. G-Dubs, anything you want to say before we
get to the after show? I got shit.
Okay. Well, that's it for this one. Thank you guys for the normal episode of Episode 6, Season 3 of the Drunken Under Quarantine Show, presented by the Woolen Comedy Club. Next week, we'll be back with a pre-recorded episode. We will not be live next week because GW and I are going to be in Burlington seeing Gwar for the second time this tour with Jake, actually. So 3 of us that saw Gwar in Worcester back around Halloween are going to see them again. And damn it, I can't wait to watch them. I just hope they kill Biden at the end of the show. And I'm really excited to see some more blood get sprayed and some more Gwar madness. This time from a lower view, because we'll be at higher ground, where we'll actually be on the ground floor. Unlike with the Palladium, we were up in the mezzanine looking down on the stage, which is a great way to see a show, especially as an old dude who likes to sit and be comfortable. But no.
That was one of the things about getting the tickets. I was like, oh, there's no place to sit down.
No. If we do what I normally do, means we're gonna be standing directly behind the sound guy, because I find that a concert, pro tip, that's where the sound is the best, because the guy mixing it is standing in front of you, which means you have the best mix out of the entire club. So that's typically where we park ourselves. That, and it's interesting to see those people work, because then you get to see the light guy flipping switches and stuff. It's always interesting to see it looks like they're playing an instrument back there. That's pretty incredible, especially when you have a good one. Don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of shitty light guys and sound guys, but when you see a good light guy at work, it's like he's a DJ with lights. It's incredible.
Poetry.
He is as important a piece of the band half the time as the musicians on stage. So that's really fun to watch. Before we get out of here, Sean said, "Everyone, please tumble to rumble. Don't be a square." Thank you, Sean. Nick Waters said, "Shit in your underwear and on the floor, GW."
I will.
He also said, "Anyone can make a quick $20 at a truck stop." I don't know if that's true. I've never tried. Who knows? Anyways, that's all I got on this one. I have, of course, Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming. We'll see you guys next week, where we won't be live, but we will be here for episode 7 of the Drunken Under Quarantine Show. Thank you all for joining us, and please remember to stay safe, stay drunk, stay underwhelming. Most importantly, in these trying times, stay sane, and remember to congratulate GW. He's a college graduate, which is, well, better than most of us are doing. See you guys next week, or on the after show. Cheers.
Are you saying you want to show me your tits? This is a weird show.